right, y'all. What's good? Appreciate y'all rocking with us. But back from the ashes we rise. Black Phoenix podcast. MCTR still here. F your feelings. TR was good.
Yo, it's glad to be back. It's been a minute. Seems like I think it's been about 2 weeks though. But when you ain't did this in a week or more, you start getting a little rusty.
A little bit rusty, but it's like riding a bike. We'll catch y'all real quick.
Yeah, hey, facts on that though. So, all right. We have we got a few topics going to be a little heavy on the politics side, but we'll change it up a little. MC, do you want to say anything to the fans or the haters real quick?
Yep. Let's just get all the insults out the way. Coon, Sambo, Uncle Tom, Sellout, Watermelon, uh, y'all trash. Let's get it all out right now, because anybody who doesn't think exactly like you is
Yeah,
definitely a
exactly.
sellout, right?
Yeah, everybody. We're not the monolith, but you motherfuckers vote the same way. You chastise people who don't vote like you, who look like you, who don't vote like you. You have the most smoke for people that vote ideologically differently from you, and that pisses you off. You guys are worse than white liberals. Like liberals, they don't give a fuck. They just go after. They everybody's an enemy to them, but you black liberals, holy shit. Like y'all missing. I knew y'all, I know most of y'all didn't grow up without a fucking father. I know for a fact y'all didn't. Y'all grew up under your moms. Y'all like probably, probably was crying till you got to like high school or whatever. Like the amount of men that are just hurt, the amount of men like there was a guy that you had maybe you posted or I forgot if I posted it though, but motherfuckers always trying to tell us how to run the show, tell us what topics to cover, tell us what tribe, who cares. Again, there's plenty of channels out there, plenty of channels that are going to align with you and channels that don't align with you. So it is what it is. We're a small channel. We've been growing. We're a year and some months. So we're going to keep doing this until we get to the next level, though. But hey, if you don't like it, hey, you know where the door is.
I just say this: anybody can get criticized, right? Y'all criticize us, we roll with it, but for some reason, when we criticize some of these people that y'all idolize, y'all just give away y'all feelings, man.
And
And I'm
it's all
telling you,
black people. It's
it,
all black topics.
I mean, are we not qualified to talk about those? I mean, we live those experiences, but all I'm saying is nobody is above accountability, and that includes us.
Facts.
Nobody is above accountability.
Like MC, you married to a black woman. You have a black child. I have a black child. Like I don't understand why we're not qualified to have these black discussions. I don't get it. I don't get it.
And here's the kicker, Tr. We spend a lot of time with them.
Yeah.
You would think that would be something to celebrate, but you know what? Let's just have fun with it. As long as y'all mad about it, sensitive, we just gonna keep poking. So let's
Yeah.
just keep
Well,
poking.
once we get to the Stephen A. Smith, so it'll be abundantly clear why most of y'all are not going to move forward in life. Why the black community is going to get is stuck in wandering another 40 years in the desert.
See, I'm a little bit more optimistic than you. I think people are waking up, Tr. I think there's gonna be a
Not
shift, but
enough.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to the. Whoops. Actually, I wanted to let me change that real quick. Let's get to Julia Fox and Marlon cringe, Marlon Wayne's cringe definition of manhood, which is a funny story because I didn't know this occurred, but apparently they were having a conversation about that movie that flopped, that Key and Peele or whatever, or Keen, I forget the guy's name, but that movie flopped at the theater. Him, yeah, that wasn't so good.
Yeah, I didn't get the chance to see it, but I've heard a couple of reviews. It's pretty much split right down the middle.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's actually the first major flop for Key as well too.
I think the youth needs.
Yep.
Which is unfortunate because I know he was doing well with the movies, but this one they did not like. So let me.
Man. So is it safe to? You know what? Just real quick pivot.
Mhm.
Get Out. Get Out was a pretty. It was a dope movie, right? and he caught lightning in a bottle. But is there anything that he's done since then that you've been rocking with?
Um, let's see. I think
That's what I'm saying.
with or is Jordan Peele. There we go.
Yeah.
I think with Jordan, the issue is he may have exaggerated his catalog though, because we're looking at like the movie about Us, like that I know you were talking about clones and everything, if you know, spoiler alert, but that wasn't a good movie. There was another movie where you like Look Up or something, wherever that was. I heard that was stupid. I never saw that one. So, you know, there's been a couple movies where he's been pushed up and say like you're supposed to like it, but ever since Get Out though, he has not went to that level. He hasn't had a home run movie. Kind of reminds me of James Gunn, but that's another conversation for another day.
Yeah, I actually kind of liked Us. I didn't like it as much as Get Out, but I couldn't get into
Mhm.
Nope. I told myself I'd
Nope.
give
Yeah.
Nope a chance. I think one thing that you hit on the head, TR, is Hollywood doesn't know what people want to see anymore. It used to be they could tell you what's good and you just consume it, but now people is like, nah, this ain't it, and they
No,
don't know
it's
they don't know what to do with it.
Hollywood. They have chased off their best writers. They have chased off some of their best creatives. And I get it. Sometimes the creatives, you know, I'm not saying they should be playing grab ass, but you know that a lot of those folks are not there anymore. A lot of the people that came in there and say, "Hey, we're going to clean it up, so we're no longer a boys' club." Well, this is it. I'm not saying people have to be assaulted to work at a place, though. But a lot of these people were not being assaulted like that. They said a joke or something that people did not like, and people went in a whole nother level. So, you know, thank you, Me Too. You single-handedly destroyed a generation of movies, TV shows, and also men as well too.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, I'm gonna give this podcast a shout out. The Critical Drinker talks about how
Yeah,
Hollywood constantly destroys masculinity, how it's starting to impact their sales. Check that page out. I do want to correct myself on two Jordan Peele movies that I forgot about that were pretty good. Tr Black Klansman and Candyman, but he's got some trash ones in there too. But I just
oh
wanted to
yeah.
correct
I,
myself.
there were some mixed reviews on Candyman, but yeah. All right. Let's get to this first episode, first topic, with Julia Fox and Marlon Wayans. I need to. All right.
See here what real men are. I think there's there's
But
masculine
what
women.
are real men?
Right. To me, a real man is a responsible
Because every
man.
time a man does some fuck shit, they'll be like, "That's not a real man," and it's like,
What
looks
is-
like a man to me.
I think a real man is in touch with his
looks like a
feminine
duck and it
side.
walks like
You
a
know what I
duck.
mean?
Yeah.
I think a real man is knows how to unstrap from his
I don't know.
ego.
I think the real man thing is just a thing like that people invented to like excuse bad behavior. You know,
Yeah, I
like
think
all
real
men
man
are real men.
said like
you
a
know?
real man.
Period.
Yeah, I
Say
think,
how it
I
is.
think, I think
Yikes.
being like to further add on what she's saying, I think there's this false narrative of what real men do, and I think it's tied into, privilege and masculinity, and I think exploring that in films is important because, we're raising these young boys to be men, and we can go that extra step to educate boys, and on that journey of how to, tap into the femininity, the vulnerability. That way we can further protect women.
I think the youth.
Holy shit! I didn't.
Did he
I
just
don't.
say that men need to tap into their femininity?
Yeah, go see him, MC. Go see him.
Nah, I'm gonna sit this one out just on that interview alone. Have y'all
I
not figured this out yet? That this doesn't
yeah.
work?
I know it was a short clip though, but I did not see that last part. Like, holy, she said tap into your femininity. What are you, Barack Obama now? Like, what are we talking about here? This is
I yeah.
yeah, this is why Hollywood has single-handedly destroyed I mean, like I said, movies, but also masculinity when it comes to like these actors who don't live normal lives, who do some Diddy party stuff. They're telling people how masculinity is or how men need to operate, how men need to raise younger men and also tap into femininity. I instantly stop listening when anyone wants to talk about tap into femininity, because you don't tell a woman to tap into masculinity. It's only men you tell them to tap into femininity. And you got Marlon Wayans, who's trying to hold. I mean, there's not much you can really do in that situation. I know he's trying to be jokey about it though, but that wasn't a good look on his part. And Marlon Wayans is already on the the rainbow spectrum, so he's already like, if you want to talk to anybody about like tapping into femininity, I think Marlon Wayans is going to be the person who can tell you about that journey. But for the most part though, he was trying to hold the line. He was trying to, like, at the end of the day, he's trying to have a conversation about manhood, and he got Julia Fox, who's a millionaire actress, telling you, hey, this is how things need to be. Or men do fuck shit, women do fuck shit too. I don't know what to tell you, but the movie's about masculinity, and you're trying to debate Marlon Wayans, which it's not really a debate. I don't know what the question was, but they're just trying to have a conversation about masculinity, and she's literally trying to debate him down. And then when the star of the movie, him, I don't know who that guy is, but he starts talking. I mean, it's just crickets, just quiet. Like, he's just getting in line, have to talk with his very soft voice and tell grown men watching that show or watching that clip is that, we need to train our boys a little bit, how to be more in touch with the feminine side. How's that been working out in the last 20, 30 years? Do you think this next generation of men are going to be able to, like, you know what? We got it this time. We understand it.
Yeah, number one, TR, there's plenty of femininity going around in the male community right now. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's a big part of the problem. That's number one. Number two, and I'll say this before, I'll say it again. Women, you are not qualified to say what a man is or is not.
Facts.
You're not qualified to participate in that conversation. What you can do is lay expectations on how you should be treated by said man, and then it's up to him if he wants to pursue anything with you or not. But you're not qualified to speak on those types of things. And number three, TR, I'm gonna tell you why I can't take anything this lady says seriously. I didn't know who she was until this video popped up. She claimed to be celibate sometime in late 2021 or early 2022. Yet she was divorced in 2021 and was pregnant around that same time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some contradicting information there right now already. She recently came out, mind you, she's married and was married and has children. First, she came out and said she was a lesbian. Then she switched it up and said she was pansexual. And basically, she just said, I'm open to anything. I can't take people like this seriously. If you're exiting yourself from heterosexual relationships, you definitely shouldn't be talking about them. And the final point, she dated Kanye for a minute.
Yeah, and so
man.
So a man married her after Kanye?
I don't know the timeline of that. I pulled most of this from articles off of Wikipedia, but yeah, this is wild. Like, if you're listening to somebody like this, you're cooked. You have no hope of building a relationship with the opposite sex. I'm sorry, you don't.
Yeah, no. Julia Fox. Hold on. Sorry about that. Yeah, with Julia Fox. I remember. I thought her name sounded familiar with Kanye and everything, but whenever these actors and actresses start giving out advice on relationships, people have to stop listening to them. I only want to see when you guys, if you get married, I want to hear about that story. In some cases, I don't mind hearing that story. But then when you get divorced, I want to hear that story too. Don't be telling me all the good. I want to hear about the bad too, because we've said this before. What happens on the, at least I have, what happens on the level of these celebrities, it trickles down to, like, regular people. So, I want to kind of hear how that stuff happened. But also, you can't really trust a lot of these Hollywood folks. They just say stuff just so they can, they're promoting the movie, but also they're pushing some propaganda as well too. Like, again, the whole thing with Diddy. Like, a lot of people saying this stuff, or they knew the stuff was going on, but they didn't say anything. Like, that's the concerning part about a lot of these folks that, operate in Hollywood. And, people have to stop listening to them when they start giving advice. Talk about the movie all you want, or talk about, like, what you doing. I mean, if you want to talk about your personal life, you can, though, but don't be giving that advice to, like, men, women, parents. Like, don't be getting advice to any of those groups though, because you have no idea what that stuff looks like, because you guys are on a whole nother level, whole different stratosphere. And when it comes to masculinity, people like Marlon Wayans, he shouldn't be talking about it anyways. And I'm saying he shouldn't be talking about the way he carries himself on his social media platforms. Like when we found out that his son was rainbow. Now, I don't care if your son is rainbow, but when it came out that his son was, because I didn't even know that, it turns out he's doing all the rainbow activities. It's like, is this about your son or is this about you? Because what I see a lot of parents do that are hetero, quote unquote hetero, they take their kid's identity. They start promoting that identity on themselves. And it's like, are you there? Are you supposed to be there to support your kid, or are you supporting yourself? Like, because I know you're gonna say, well, he's the actor. I was like, I can't tell sometimes, because you guys love to, like, latch on to whatever's trending and act like this is the cool thing to do. Hate Trump, be LGBT, or at least be, adjacent to it. And then also just, do the whole Me Too thing, like all the things that destroy the movie industry. And we're seeing it play out though too. That Tron Ares movie just, crashed. Well, it's the first weekend though, but I think it's gonna be a crash and burn, because people don't want to see Jared Leto like that, and they don't want to see, Tron movie either. I heard it was good though.
Yeah, both of those.
Oddly enough.
Both of those points. I was going to share a video, but I decided not to because it shows a bunch of images of children. But I'm going to recommend it. There's a page called The Black Overthinker, and he does a deep dive analysis on the very high proportion of celebrity kids that are non-binary or somewhat buried in the alphabet community. And there's an interesting correlation there. TR, I think there's some type of ideologies being pushed on those kids that they really don't get the chance to see perspectives on the other side. It's just kind of thrown on them. And kids are already confused and trying to figure things out. And it doesn't help when parents kind of feed into that confusion even more.
Yeah.
Kids don't
climb
know who
onto
they
it.
are. They at a very early age in particular, they don't know who they are. And you're supposed to be kind of coaching and guiding them as opposed to letting them make life-altering decisions and determinations. But I'm not going to get into how y'all raise your kids, but it's a very interesting page. I'm not going to show other people's kids though, so we didn't share the video.
Yeah,
but it's weirdo stuff, and I just assume that they all either partied with Weinstein or Diddy. Most of them more than likely did.
Yeah. You mean Epstein? Mr. E.
Weinstein, Epstein, Diddy, all the above.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go to the next topic. We're going to talk about some Kim Porter activity, which, MC, I was not aware of this woman until she started making a name for herself. Like, a lot of these Democrats, once they start showing themselves and you become aware of like some of the fuck shit that they do, again, these are the people that say, hey, we support, insert whatever community other than white males. And they come out here with their, their pom-poms and their rainbow flags, their BLM flags, their pro-Palestine flags, and they start supporting people. But these people are just trash people as well, too. They're not, pro-people or pro-black or pro-brown people, whatever it is. They're pro-Democrat. They do what's in the best interest of Democrats in order to secure votes and get funding. So, Kim Porter is is going to be a good example of that.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. It's going to be interesting what California does in the coming days.
Yeah, well, I'm not holding my breath, but I have an idea what they're going to do. So.
Attention this week after a CBS News interview with the early frontrunner was posted online.
Former Democratic Congresswoman Katie Porter nearly walked out when correspondent Julie Watts asked about redistricting and what Porter would say to the 40% of Californians who voted for President Trump.
We've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that.
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you.
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this.
I want to call out this is a very big reason why I stopped being a Dem back in 2010. Because a lot of people will tell you what they want to do, but when you start digging into the how and what
Yeah.
the execution of that looks like, you get challenged like this just because you're asking for specific details and not just feel good Candyland sentences and phrases. And that's exactly what happened here. This
Like
lady
empty
asked a follow-up
platitudes.
question, and for some reason it offended her. I just want to call that out.
Yeah. And I'm surprised CBS actually pushed her, or actually, was it CBS that did it? Okay. I'm surprised they pushed her on it though, too, because generally they don't. But I mean, after a few lawsuits and then also being called out, they might be changing their tune a little, at least, trying to keep it, unbiased, or at least give the appearance that you want to be unbiased. But I doubt that's the case or long lasting.
Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered
I don't
our
care.
follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue
Again, control the narrative, control the questions, basically do what Kamala Harris tried to do, essentially.
on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And we're
Porter,
just going to circle around.
I am an
I have
investigative
never had to do this
reporter.
before, ever.
You've never had to have a
end an
conversation
interview.
with
To end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make.
So you're not.
She's a leader. Yeah, I believe it. She's a leader. She's also a single mom. And I bring that up, though, because it's all over her campaign where she, touts she's a single mom, no one believed in her, blah, blah, blah. That whole skit about, about being a single mom, as well as, woe is me type of conversation, though. But it's unfortunate because she wants to be governor, and this is how she conducts herself. What about this interview makes you feel like she can be someone reasonable you can work with, and someone who wants to get everything done? Because she crashed out over like Republicans. Like, this is what I don't get about Democrats. Republicans are still in your district. Republicans, you need their votes. It happens in Congress, and it happens at the local level as well too. You need votes across the party lines. That's why I don't understand with like a lot of these people. You want to say these guys are the enemy. They're not the enemy. You need their votes, and that's what she crashed out over. How can she even be considered governor? She should step down.
So she's doing the same thing that a lot of the other Dems are doing. We just talked about this the last time we recorded. They're exiling influential people out of their party. It's like
Right.
either you get online with this or basically F you. We don't need you. The question was asked, what are you going to say to the 40% of Californians that voted for Trump in the last election? How are you going
Right.
to win their votes? If you can't look at California and see that it's trending redder than it has in a very long time, and you don't have a strategy to combat that and challenge it, like it just shows how unaware people are. Like, I don't think people realize that this country is slowly, very, very slowly shifting to the right. Like, you would think that they'd have picked up something from the last election. But at the end of the day, TR, California is going to have a blue governor no matter what, and she's leading in those polls.
Yeah, they're too incompetent. I'm gonna pull up that second video, but they're too incompetent to even consider the idea that their plans, the way that their strategy is wrong, because it can't be them. It has to be, Trump.
I'm warning you.
Whoops. It has to be Trump is a Yahtzee. Trump is a threat to democracy. Trump is a fascist. It's like all those things, negative things. And what do we see today? He got that Gaza peace deal going. He did something that Kamala Harris and Biden, that happened on their watch. He did something that they did not do, that they said they were going to try to do, that they were going to try to, come to a peace agreement, and never did. And he's still getting, he's still catching smoke for that. He's still, or they won't give him any praise for that. And I'm not saying they need to praise him on everything, but it's like, you guys wanted the fighting stop in Gaza. You said it was a genocide. The fighting's done. So what more do you have for Trump? What more can he did it within like what 8 months, or not 8 months, but Well, probably actually close to it. I mean, if you count when he started getting involved with it, but you know, about 10 months though. But what more do you want?
They want to see their side win, and that's more important than everything else. That's the answer to your question.
Yeah, that's just confirmation that the Democrats they don't care about saving lives. They don't care about doing what's in the best interest of the American people. Like, for example, the government shutdown. They don't care about any of that stuff. This is all about them, you know, getting Democrat control, getting Democratic Party power, and they're already cooked in this 2028 election. I mean, they're gonna have to have a superstar to even come close to getting the White House back. You know, maybe the Senate, but you know, that's probably about it.
Yeah. You can go ahead and run that second one if you want. I don't know if you've seen this one yet, but you'll appreciate it.
Nope.
Experience with you either.
Now
I would
she's
love to
embarrassed.
continue to ask these
She wants
questions
to
so
say,
that we
let's
can
start
show
from
our
the beginning.
viewers what every
50
candidate
seconds.
Okay.
feels
By the
about
way,
What's that?
Go to 50 seconds.
50 seconds?
Yeah, this is the second video. Are you still playing the first one?
Yeah, the second video.
Okay, yeah, go to the 50-second mark.
Oh,
Or
okay.
actually, the 306 mark. My bad. 306.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
let's
you
start right
already.
now.
Okay.
Wait,
Everyone
pause
is
it right
making-
here. This is nothing compared to the next one. This next one is how she loses it on one of her team members. Watch this. This is what you call greatness,
I did
folks.
see this.
This is made 14. The
Not on
world
here.
needs to see this. She was a rock star the last 24 hours on X.
100%.
Everybody and their mothers wanted to make sure people knew how sweet she is. Watch this one. Go ahead. Imagine this.
We did a study recently this fall.
Look to her
September,
right, to her
and
left.
what it showed is if we don't electrify our transportation
3,
sector,
2,
that we're going to lose more than
1.
500,000
gonna show
Californians
up.
dying prematurely to air pollution and other problems, and the state could lose out of my fucking shot.
Wow.
I wanted to tell you that that's actually incorrect. It's not that it's electric vehicles. It's that if we don't make the commitments under the Paris Climate Accord.
Okay, it does. Okay, you also were in my shot before that. Stay out of my shot.
Okay, couple of funny things on that though. Okay, first of all, why was she in a fucking shot? Like, when I saw that video, I mean, yeah, she probably shouldn't crash out like that. But when I saw that video, I was like, why is she in the shot? And then she tried to correct her while she in her shot.
Yeah, she definitely had some audacity there, that's for sure. But
She's like, oh, it's electric.
here's my question though. What type of employer talks to employees like this, TR? This needs to be a recurring thing. I just dropped a link in the private chat if you wanted to share that real quick. And for all the pro-blacks, I'll remind y'all of this too. There were many reports coming out of the Kamala Harris campaign that she treated her employees like garbage, particularly the black ones. So miss me with all of this, you ain't black enough for me nonsense. Y'all only use that argument as points of convenience. It all goes away when it comes to people like her, who apparently was one of the primary people mistreating her black employees. So
Yeah.
miss me with all of your pro-black rhetoric. I'm not trying to hear that.
You know,
nonsense
MC,
right now.
and we brought that up too. We brought that up, and crickets, mere bag of shells, no big deal. Like, she mistreated black women. You motherfuckers tell me all the time, protect all black women. Black woman, the black woman is God. She's the main one mistreating black women. And these are people working under her. She had like a high staff turnover. And you motherfuckers are telling us shouldn't be talking about black women. We shouldn't be, we should be elevating the black community, elevating the black woman. We're telling you what she did. We're telling you that she was not a good employer working under her, high turnover. She had a lot and that's just there. They didn't care about the black woman that she locked up. It's funny story. I was telling my mom about this case, and my mom, she's like, well, I don't know the circumstances behind it. I'm like, fine, put it in ChatGPT. Like, I'm telling you what's going on, and people don't want to believe. People and I was just telling, she put a black woman behind bars, right? Like, no big deal, little big deal. Like, I gotta hear the I was like, all right. Like,
Exactly.
when
and
it
Jamal
comes,
Truelove, and she laughed
yep,
in his face. And I keep reminding y'all, he successfully sued the city of San Francisco,
yeah,
the prosecution office, and the police department, and won. That was during Kamala Harris's tenure.
yeah,
So they was doing some F stuff then.
yeah. I wish Jamal Truelove had gained a little more notoriety during the campaign season, though. I wish Trump had like really brought him up, though, because that would have highlighted like the type of prosecutor that she is. Like, whenever a prosecutor is running for a public office, I gotta check your records. I gotta check to see like who were you behind, who were you letting people out on bail? Were you doing this cashless the bail system? Were you putting a certain group of people behind bars? And was it related to like, were these like real cases? Like, no matter the gender, no matter the race, are they all getting across the board then? Because we know the court system is corrupt. And I hear a lot of black people talking about how, Trump just walked away. I'm like, they went after it. They specifically campaigned to go after an elected, he wasn't elected at the time, but, as a popular figure, like, you would never let this fly. I mean, you have more people pissed off about the, what's the dude in Atlanta, the young blood, or damn, I forget that dude's name.
Young Thug?
Young Thug, there we go. Young Thug. I mean, if people watched that case with the Young Thug trial, because I know a lot of people didn't, you would have found out that the judge was colluding with the prosecution team, which is AKA Fannie Willis's team. You had multiple judges recuse themselves. One of the judges had a bailiff that was in a relationship with one of the defendants in the Young Thug RICO case. And then you would have found out, oh, this is Fannie Willis again? Like, she's wasted. And the Young Thug case was one of the longest cases in Georgia, Fulton County, Georgia history. One of the longest cases. And they got a conviction out of it though, but it wasn't the conviction they were looking for. It wasn't a RICO charges or anything, but everyone's okay with that, wasting all the taxpayer money. Like, this was a misuse of I don't know if Young Thug even did it, but I know you can't collude with the prosecution team. He threw Young Thug's lawyer in jail because he was like, why are you colluding? I mean, he didn't say it like that. He was a little more, he was actually respectful about it, but he was like, why are you colluding? And nobody cares about that justice.
I seem to remember that there was a little bit of speculating collusion going on when Meek Mill was going through his situation in Pennsylvania too, and he actually started a lot of time behind that before he was released. I do want to pivot back to, a lot of people ask us, why do we focus on California the way that we do? California essentially is too big to fail, and it's eventually it's going to become a U.S. tax burden if that country runs at the deficit that it's running. And I hate to keep picking on them, but I started looking at California seriously when State Farm, I don't know if you remember this, TR, a year and a half ago, they announced that they were just going to let everybody's policies expire and just exit the state. And I started to dive into California a little bit more, but California is too big to fail. I just looked this up. As itself by its own state, it's still the fourth or fifth largest economy in the world, and it contributes a lot of different agricultural things to the United States. So, regardless of what happens over there, if they run it into the S-hole or whatever, the U.S. will probably have to step in and save it.
Yeah,
it's going to be another burden for all taxpayers.
The problem with California that MC, I hate to bring it. I don't want to make it too personal, but they kind of act like you when it comes to Baker Mayfield, like, respectfully, because people know California has problems, and they act like Trump is the problem. They know Gavin Newsom is a problem. Gavin Newsom has morality issues. He was sleeping with his campaign manager. I don't know about any criminal activity though, but there's a couple things that they need to be investigating when it comes to Gavin Newsom. What happened to that, billions of dollars of homeless money, or the train to nowhere that they started to build that never was finished? And not to mention, he's connected to the family. He's like Nancy Pelosi's nephew or some shit. Like, there's a lot of things about California, and the politics are just destroying the state. And I don't know why so many people can even defend California, and knowing that they are destroying the state. You can't help anybody. Like, if the state was really helping people, then they'd be able to help the homeless population, and they came to help those people. That's how terribly run they are, and as well as people just kind of like just hey, no big deal, and California do California, but what happens in California and New York trickles down to everybody. So we're about to see what's going to happen in New York. I mean, I will say Katie Porter, it's a better situation with Katie Porter than it is with that Ramadani dude, because that Ramadani dude, he's about to destroy New York. And I don't feel bad for those people, but for the people that are voting correctly and they're fighting, it's too late. You're just going to have to go along with the ride.
Yeah. And here's what'll really tell you the story. California is a personal issue for me because I'm right next door in Arizona, and I've seen firsthand California has a
California is garbage.
Oh man,
I told you.
There's a lot of people exiting California, and they're moving to states like Arizona. Florida's got an increase. The Carolinas have an increase, and I'm telling you, what they'll do is they'll sell their 3-bedroom properties for damn near $1 million. Flip that and come to Arizona and price Arizonians out of the housing market here. And it's inflating the prices here. This is what happens when you have a government that's running everything down and people want to get out and escape. And it's creating, look into the states that have the greatest exodus of population. And you're kind
Blue
of going to
states.
see, California's always in the conversation.
Yeah, and they're
But
coming to
again,
red
it's too big to
states
fail.
like Texas and Florida.
And I can't even say Arizona is red anymore. Arizona's probably more so purple at this point. I mean, we have a governor that's a Dem. So there's things like that to be considered too, TR.
Yeah, and I tell you much though, that's really the issue, because after this election, if people continue to move and people are bringing their terrible voting habits, they're going to try to like turn Texas and Florida red, turn them blue. They're going to try to do that. They're going to try to do that crap though, and it. Unfortunately, unless people stay active, unless people get the message out, this is part of the reason why we do this podcast, is to kind of have these conversations and let people know that, hey, you have to keep having this stuff though, because the Democrats did so much fuck shit. I forgot about it. Like, they've done so much stuff though, I can't even keep up with it. And people just look at you like you're crazy. Like, what are you talking about? Like the whole thing with Facebook and social media conspiring to limit the voices of conservatives. If you talk about the vid, or you try to talk about the insurrection, or you try to talk about the votes, which nobody has a problem that Joe Biden received the most votes than Barack Obama, but let's not have that conversation though. Back in 2020, so there's all those things that happen, and they're on record conspiring. And like I said, I try to tell my mom, try to tell friends, people don't want to listen, they don't want to wake up.
Hey, so I went ahead and pulled the U.S. Census data, TR. Let's do the top 5 states that are losing the biggest population right now.
California.
Number 5 is Massachusetts. This is from 2020 to 2024, based on the U.S. Census. Number 4 is New Jersey. They lost 192,000. Illinois is number 3, 418K. New York is number 2, 966K. And number 1 is California. 1.3 million people have chucked the deuces and left California for greener pastures.
Now I will say, so one of our our favorite creators out there is Anton Daniels, and he's stayed in Detroit. He's seen it through Detroit, through its good and through its bad and its ugly. He's stayed in there, and he's trying to do some things a little bit different in Detroit and get the word out about voting, and also getting exposure, or bringing Detroit. I mean, Detroit's already on the map though, but when it comes to local activities, sometimes you just never know what's going on or who's involved with stuff like that though. So it's good to kind of get the word out there and let people know though. But again, like I said, we're only one podcast. We're a small podcast, but we're trying to get people to kind of listen to us, and also just have these conversations though, because there needs to be more conversations from men in general who take an interest in their politics and make sure those politics align with either yourself, your family, your future family, or just in the state in general though, because we're gonna, in our next topic, we're gonna talk about what a state did to make changes in the marriage.
Before you transition, I want to do the opposite side of this. The top 5 states that have gained the most population. We just named off a bunch of blue states. But let's talk about the top 5 states that have gained the most population during that same time frame. South Carolina is number 5. Arizona is number 4. North Carolina is number 3. Texas is number 2. Florida is number 1. There's
There you
only
go.
one state on there. North Carolina kind of jumps back and forth between red and blue. So does Arizona, but these are essentially red states, DR.
Yeah. Yep. All right. We are going to, I think we're done with that Katie Porter stuff though. So more stuff to come out. Oh, I wish we had the video because well, we don't have that. Actually, skip that, strike that. We're going to talk about the divorce rate in Kentucky. Divorce rate dropped about 25%, but MC, hot take, but I'm going to tell you why this is bad.
Oh, I'm curious to hear that, but I'll let you run the video.
Yeah, let's get the video queued up here. All right. Shout out Crimson Cure.
Equal parenting time, the default in divorce, first U.S. state to 50 custody. So it says, back in 2018, Kentucky became the first U.S. state to pass a law making joint custody and equal parenting time the default in divorce cases as long as both parents are fit and there's no history of abuse. Since then, the divorce rate in Kentucky has dropped by over 25%, according to statewide data. Supporters say the law gives both parents equal responsibility and reduces the need for court battles and child support disputes. Critics argue it doesn't fit every family, but overall, the law is credited with creating more balance and stability for children. Other states have since passed similar laws, but Kentucky was the first to make it official. Now, I did a real quick little research about other states that try to have like joint custody as the default, barring any different kind of circumstances or extenuating circumstances that might make that not feasible. For the other states that actually have it, those would be that instated those things between like that afterwards were like Missouri, New York, Minnesota, Massachusetts, Iowa, and Virginia.
You can stop there. You can pick it up from here.
All right.
Shout out to the Crimson Cure though. We love Crimson Cure.
So there are.
Oops, there you go. Yeah. Great content.
TR, you said that's a bad thing. Where you coming from with that one?
So here's okay. Shout out to Kentucky for like taking action because we really don't see a lot of states, and maybe she was going to go into that about what states try to do. And truthfully, we see a lot of states attempting to do stuff like this, and it just fails. And you would think with all the men out here, all the men crying about how women have left their marriages, women are doing they can leave a marriage just because for whatever dumbass reason. Whatever the case is, you see a lot of men that they should be on board with this, and most lawmakers are men. I just don't understand why men have not been involved with this as much as they should have been, because when it comes to like making these cases, I don't understand why the laws are the laws that they are, though. We've had enough time and enough men in this country to and men that have been through stuff like this, or men that were raised in these split households, they've had plenty of chances to change stuff like this. So on one hand, yeah, the states are changing and moving forward, but here's my real problem with this though, okay, MC? So I'm okay with the states making the law changes. Plus, I mean, states, you can do whatever you want. My real issue is we got to change state law to keep these women in their marriages. Do you know how insane this shit is? This is crazy. Why do we have to why do we have to change these laws? Like, that's MC, and you're the marriage guy, you're the marriage bro. You're telling me, like, for wanting to get married, I still think I could get married. For me wanting to get married, 1 in 4 women are not going to want to be in that marriage. Or 1 in 4 men will want to be in that marriage. But the rest of them, nope, they don't want to get in there. And part of the reason they're only there is because they don't get the 50-50 custody. Like, isn't that terrible? Isn't that, like, how do you speak to people? Like, this is Kentucky. They instituted the rule. But all these other states, y'all got problems. Y'all got dead bedrooms. You got issues with, your wife and her work husband and all that shit. Like, this is really troubling that we see that women are only in the marriage because they can't get an advantage over you. Like that's a shitty proposition and a bad deal at that.
See, I look at it differently, TR. I look at it as chickens coming home to roost for women.
Yeah.
For years, we know that child support was designed for trash dads who are not there and didn't want to live up to their responsibilities. But what it evolved into was a torture tool that a lot of women used against good men trying to do the right thing by their kids. This is
Hey, real
chickens
quick,
coming home to
real
roost.
quick,
Yeah,
MC. Part of the child support, with the way child support is designed today. I mean, before, you're right. The men yesteryear, the boomers, they fucked up for all of us. It really didn't get its teeth until in the 90s. And
yeah.
I'm talking about Clinton, who allowed the child support become what it is today. So FYI.
Yeah, that all true, all true. I don't deny any of that. But this makes women. I've said this
Hey,
before.
MC,
too.
you still there?
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
hear you.
I'm still here. Are we doing this again?
Sorry, can't hear you. Yeah, MC's having some microphone issues, but yeah, for a lot of folks out there, when it comes to the child support law, and there's a creator that I'm blanking on his name though, but when it came to the child support law, the way that they designed it, they put the teeth in there to go after men with their passports, with their credit reporting, jail time. Like before you, I mean, the jail time is probably like a 4 or 5 step process. It's the passport and the credit reporting is where they get you at. So when it comes to the whole thing, when it comes to like talking about child support, started in the 90s and it just went to shit after that though. So and it's one of the only systems out there like you never have to worry about them forgetting something, having a mistake, because I have yet to hear any child support agency getting hacked. I have yet to hear any type of on-site issues that may have occurred at a child support agency. So yeah, those. I mean, if you want to hide something, put it in child support because no one is dying to get in those places though. Damn, MC's still down.
No,
Well,
I'm here right now.
come on, MC. Hold on. Let's see if I can fix his mic here.
I'm testing my mic.
Yeah,
right
sorry
now.
guys.
My
I cannot
hold
hear him.
on,
You might
I'll
be able to
right
hear him,
back.
but I cannot hear him. I'm just gonna remove him stage. Hopefully he logs back out and logs back in. So, but anyway, so part of my issue with when it comes to like the 25% and what I was kind of discussing earlier, is that nowadays you have to create laws to keep women in their relationships. And I know some people may be like the whole at fault, or I mean, no fault divorce. And at one point, I used to think that that was probably the better issue. Hold on. Okay, MC's trying to. You there? MC.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They say they could hear you. I couldn't hear you, so crazy.
Hold on, I'm gonna try one more thing. I think
No, I
might
can hear
be
you.
able to fix it on your side. Hold
No,
on,
I can hear you.
right
You're
back.
good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
I'm not good. Just trust me. I'll be right back.
Fuck. All right. Anyways, guys. So when it comes to like the whole the 25%, my issue is that nowadays you're going to have to like hope that either you get married and you hope that the person that you're with wants to be there for the kids, wants to be a wife, and then you got to hope in the next if you get to the 7-year mark, get to the 10-year mark, that she doesn't check out. And so this isn't one of those Marriage Bros podcast type of conversations though. This is one of those things where men need to be aware of what's coming down the pipeline for them, what some of these state laws are, because I didn't even know about this in Kentucky. So I'm surprised they even passed a law like that. I know there's another state that passed automatic paternity tests, as well as Florida got rid of the what's that? They got rid of lifetime alimony. What, you there, MC?
Yeah. Sorry about that. I had to clear something up.
Jeez, man.
So real quick, I wanted to counter your point. Forced accountability on women had to happen, right? So now there's equal risk if the marriage falls apart.
Yeah.
If the marriage falls apart, traditionally the man takes on all the risk. This goes a long way in terms of curbing some of that. Now you gotta prove that he was a terrible husband and a father before you can take away that joint 50-50 custody. So to that I say it ain't no fun when the rabbits got the gun. I done seen a lot of terrible mothers get over on fathers and kind of lean into these child support courts and these family court laws to kind of like make the man's life miserable. I've seen men literally go bankrupt trying to fight for their kids, and I've seen the mental anguish and things like that. The court automatically sides with the woman, and now this is going to require everybody to be a little bit more logical and plan on if they want to make this transition to marriage. So I think I heard you talking about the alimony thing that they're doing in Florida. They're like, it's making it so it's not lifetime anymore. They're talking about doing mandatory DNA testing at birth because they're anticipating that up to 1 in 3 children have the wrong father on the birth certificate. So these are things that are going to make accountability more equal in marriage. And frankly, it's long overdue. And you know who was talking about all this stuff? There was only one presidential candidate, TR, who was talking about all this stuff. And obviously he jumped back out, and that was RFK. He was the only person talking about creating balance with family court laws. I never heard any other presidential candidate talk about it.
Yeah, the family court laws definitely do need a reset, though. I don't know. I mean, maybe it'll happen in the next 50 years, but you're still, I mean, MC, that's still, I mean, for a lot of men out there, you're going to have to decide. And I said this earlier, you're going to have to decide, is marriage really worth it? You know, what you know now, what you've seen other people go through, what these states don't give a shit about the whole family. They do what's in the, they fuck over whoever makes the most money, and then they set everything up against that person. Generally, it's men. The only woman that I know that pays child support, that's ever had to pay child support, is Holly Berry. That's the only woman. I'm sure there's some out there, but the majority of the time, Holly Berry, when it comes to a woman, Holly Berry's been the only one that's ever had to pay child support to both her white zaddies.
It's certainly not happening to the average everyday woman. That much we know. And another thing we didn't talk about, Texas puts caps on child support.
Oh, yeah. Who is it? What's her face? Brittany Renner and PJ Washington. Yes. Yeah. So, which is why Brittany Renner crashed out on PJ Washington a few months ago, which we discussed, because she cannot get the money that she feel like she's entitled to. So I'm all on board with a lot of these states taking action, but this is more writing on the wall that marriage is probably not going to be a good deal for most men. And they need to consider these things because, yeah, you might be saved a little bit. Like, she probably won't exit the relationship, but then she wants to exit the relationship. So now you got another problem. You said in that Kentucky case, they have to prove that the person was abusive. Well, unfortunately, it's pretty easy to prove that a man is abusive. Like, you calling your girl's phone multiple times or yelling at her, that's considered abusive. Like, that's the crazy thing. So, yeah, there's some loopholes in there, but I don't know, man. MC, again, you're the marriage bro. You got to give us some sage advice on how to navigate these waters.
I don't know if you can, TR. My position remains the same. I'm happily married, but I realize that for most men, marriage is not a good deal. And let's add some more evidence to that. I just dropped a poll right here from CBS News. 50% of all married women have a backup plan B guy who's just waiting in the wings for the husband to mess up so he can slide on in there and get 50% of women have a backup guy.
Yep. And
here's what I tell men. Marriage can be a great thing if you execute it properly, but you got to make sure you're doing it with the right person.
Yeah, see, and MCs just says right person, so he's not really getting any advice.
Did I lose you?
No, I hear you. I hear you just fine.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, he said, hey, just find the right person, find someone that rocks with you, and you're good.
So yeah.
This is not helpful advice, MC.
Well,
but
I'll tell you. Here's what I will say, TR. No. So, all right, let's deep dive it there. First of all, don't date anybody that has political ideologies that differ from you.
That is true.
Because off the rip, that means you got a messed up family structure. If you have a son and he comes home one day and he says, "I think I might be a girl," you better for sure make sure that your wife has the same mentality as you do when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
Political
Yeah.
ideology is number one. Number two, it sucks that you have to say this, but you need to have a conversation about physical attraction and how to maintain it. The laziest people in the world are married people. This has been proven statistically. They're the ones that tend to let themselves go and not do the things they used to do to lock in and secure the marriage in the first place. That's number two. Number three, look, the more tattoos she has, fellas, the more trauma that's attached to her. I think that's a fair statement to make. I've never seen a woman covered in tattoos that didn't have some type of mental things that she's working on or some type of self-harm and things that you got to call out as red flags. The best way for you to tell a woman's accountability, because this is the big issue right here. A lot of women don't want to face accountability, right? Ask them this question. Without mentioning your ex, tell me why your last relationship ended and watch how she answers that question.
Yeah.
It's going to tell you everything you need to know about what accountability looks like. If she can answer that question without mentioning her ex, that tells me that she has a true sense of self and what her strengths and weaknesses are. But if she brings them up anyway, or she can't answer the question, that means she's blaming everybody else for her problems. Ain't nobody perfect out here, but a lot of times these women like to portray that they are. I would start off with those 4 basic tenets. At the political ideology is important because we tend not to talk about this. And you also need to make sure that you get some guarantees in terms of the happenings in the bedroom. Because if she wants a monopoly on your sexual gratification, you better damn sure make sure she's willing to keep that same energy every time you want to get your rocks off and not let up on the gas. We know what we like. We men at the end of the day. There's some basic tenets to get you started.
Guys, I'm just gonna check out CGA, the free agent lifestyle. He'll set you right. If he's giving some good advice, I hope you
free
guys
agent lifestyle.
check out CGA.
So CGA is the opposite of me. But married people can learn from CGA too, though, TR. That's the thing.
That's true.
I can learn from CGA. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. We are going
feminists too. Never marry a feminist. She gonna break your heart.
That's a fact too. They are good in the bedroom, but that's a side note. Sorry. Family show. All right. We are getting to the main event. Stephen A is catching smoke in regards to his criticism of Jasmine Crockett. Also, I didn't realize that they brought up the whole thing with the tennis player Venus Williams, or was it Serena? I don't know one of the Williams sisters. Anyways, the one married to a white guy. They brought her up because they're accusing Stephen A. Smith, the Blackity Blacks are accusing Stephen A. Smith of going after black women. Now, Stephen A. Smith, I like Stephen A. Smith on the show, on the First Take for a little bit. Then I stopped watching it after they made all their changes. And Stephen A. Smith has been jumping in the political landscape, though. Stephen A. Smith does, sometimes have some good points, though. But overall, I don't go to Stephen A. Smith for like any talking points or when it comes to like having like some education when it comes to politics. I am impressed with he's been able to get some big name politicians on there, but that's really about it.
I suspect TR that Stephen A. is going to run for president one day. Just seeing some of the interviews that he's doing. He's having conversations with people on both sides, and he's starting to opine on things politically that he didn't really talk about before. I think he's setting himself up for something political in the future.
Hey, until Stephen A. Smith can come out here and say he voted for Trump, I ain't never going to listen to him. I like Stephen A. Smith as a person. He's made a nice bag, but outside of that, Stephen A. Smith has, until he can admit that he voted Republican or voted for Trump, I can't take him serious when it comes to politics. So
I think he said on a couple of occasions he voted for Kamala, TR, even though he claims to be a moderate.
Yeah, and it's funny because he gets a lot of smoke, and he voted for Kamala. So funny story there.
They really don't care.
Nope. All right.
This is a really good opportunity. We talked about the invasion of cities and colleges.
Heads up, this is a long video. Pause.
I want to throw to one more example. Someone who teeters on the edge quite a bit, shows up talking out of both sides of his mouth. He had this to say recently about Jasmine Crockett. Sometimes you get attacked by your own.
Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself, I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? How much work goes into that? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work.
He's got to deal with Black woman issues
Oh my
writ
God.
large, and whatever self-hate exists within him.
That is self-hate before
I've
a black
never
woman.
seen a clip of him where he actually praises a Black woman.
That's what I'm saying. He's got
something
Black woman issue he's got to deal with. But
For those who are listening, that was Stephen A. Smith commentating about Jasmine Crockett's lack of work. For context, there was a poll that was recently done, and Jasmine Crockett's approval numbers amongst the American people rival Barack Obama's in 2008. So just for context, he is on an island unto himself. Because
or
people,
caping for some
because
other
people,
element.
because people see her largely
TR, pause
working
the
on our
video.
behalf. And I also want to say,
Yo,
Did you hear what I don't know, because you went out and you jumped back in. She said,
Yeah, I heard it.
She said Jasmine Crockett's approval rating is just as high as Obama's was back in 2008. Do you believe that?
No, I don't really believe it though. And it's one of those things where they want to elevate Jasmine Crockett so bad. Like Jasmine Crockett can't do anything wrong. So they start talking about approval ratings. Like, well, shit, if that's the case, then why didn't she run for president? Or why is she not in line to run for the president? Because she can't get the what do you call it? She can't get the votes. She might be able to get the votes in her district though. And I don't know if you knew this, MC, but they redistricted in Texas recently. It went through all the Supreme Court. Democrats were pissed off. They tried to walk out, blah, blah, blah. The point is they redistricted, and she's going to have to like work for those voters in that in her particular area that she doesn't even live in. So she's going to have to work in that area, and if she wants to keep her seat. So we're going to find out how popular Jasmine Crockett is.
I have the same mentality with her that I do for most people in Congress. So I've never seen someone in Congress who, hold on, I got to read this. She want to be able to win the general election. Yeah, I don't think she could either. And I think whatever polls that Angela Rye is speaking about, it had to be a very small sample size and it's probably just a bunch of Black people, to be honest. I don't think she would test very well outside of Black women. I think Black men will rock with her a little bit less than Black women, but everybody else, it's like, nah. I don't know about that one.
Yeah,
was good.
Yeah, yes. Stephen A. I mean, he does do a lot of like shuffling, and I mean, the crazy thing, I don't really hear Stephen A. Smith going after a lot of women, especially when it comes when it comes to WNBA. Stephen A. is like one of the biggest people championed for the WNBA. Like he will elevate a lot of people.
Black women on at ESPN and anybody else who's ever worked there, but they don't care about that.
And he voted for Kamala. And you have these two men. One is Zesty. I forgot who this other guy is. Because
that's Andrew Gilliam, the one you calling Zesty. And you remember TR when he lost his governmental election in Florida. The first thing they did was they blamed Black men.
Yeah, that's always the easy out.
But I'll say this too. They want to question Stephen A.'s relationship with Black women. I know for a fact he gave a lot of Black women platforms, and with some who really weren't even that talented, if we're being honest. He's done that. I'm constantly hearing this dude praise his daughters, and even his ex-wife that he's not with anymore. He'll even give her, positive comments or whatever.
Yeah,
and let's not forget about the amount of money that he raises for HBCUs. Why do we see...
HBCU week. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he's constantly. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Look, Black man, conservative Black men, and conservative men in general. I mean, straight men with high testosterone. It doesn't matter what you do or what you accomplish. If you say something positive about Trump, or you say something about a Black woman who is a Democrat or a liberal, they got smoke for you. There are plenty of Black women that are Democrats that are, that are conservative. They don't care about those women. Those women are the scum of the earth. They go after all those women. And Stephen A. is an easy target because they want to. I mean, we're gonna get further in the video, but Stephen A. has, like you said, had the HBCU week. He's constantly putting on a lot, and I don't know Stephen A. does this on purpose, but he's connected to a lot of athletes, and he is always trying to put black athletes on. I remember he tried to put Allen Iverson on because he wanted Iverson to have a career. I mean, I'm sure Iverson wanted to have a career after basketball too, but he wanted Iverson to be like, chime in on the sports commentating when it comes to basketball. It didn't work out, but Stephen A. Smith, I mean, and I don't know if Stephen A. Smith is 100% on all this stuff too. We got to remember the whole basketball fiasco and stat padding or the lack of stats. But all I can go off is what Stephen A. Smith has said. And for them to come after Stephen A. Smith, who has been a staunch Kamala supporter, he should not be getting smoke like this. And they get really rude and disrespectful. And this is how they treat a lot of men. So you get in line, men. This is what's waiting for you. These are what these two black women are saying about black men. And then you have two other black men jumping in to bury this black man as well too. And I mean, I don't know if I don't know if they even have kids. Stephen A. has two black daughters. Like, that doesn't even matter.
I don't know how far into this video you want to go. Are you playing the whole video, or are we just breaking it? Okay, I'm gonna wait until they get to this part because there's something that was said on here that really pissed me the hell off.
Recently had Jasmine Crockett on. It was on my solo pod, and Jasmine is on the show talking about having to go get fit for a bulletproof vest. So it is. This is not the time for this.
Yeah,
and it is very dangerous.
And it's crazy how they want to point out this is the, bring down the temperature. Let's not do stuff like that. Yeah, spoken like a Republican, spoken like a conservative, because they seem to be the ones running or being involved in these types of situations. And I know some Democrats and some liberals have had some interactions, but the majority of stuff is only coming from one side of the line, the party line, though. So these extremists, they need to get them in line, though, because I'm telling you, nobody's trying to go after Jasmine Crockett. All this is just her saying somebody's trying to come after her. But the people on the left, they're the ones, they're the extremists. They're the ones that went after the Josh Shapiro. They're the ones that burned down his house. Allegedly, they're the ones that that broke into what's her face, Nancy Pelosi's house and knocked her husband out, which was a whole weird conversation. But allegedly that appears to be that this dude was a left-wing dude, a left-wing extremist. And then we have the Charlie Kirk situation and what happened with Trump. Like, these are all left-wing extremist people, at least adjacent in most cases, that's where the violence has been coming from, though. So maybe Jasmine Crockett does get some type of violent threat or whatever the case is. It can't be more than what everyone else is getting on the right. So I'm not saying, have no sympathy, but a lot of politicians, because of their rhetoric, have unleashed these people into the wild, and they're going after everybody, though. That's why you can't get in bed with extremists, because once you let the pit bull go, you can't yank their collar back. That's what they're running into. They ran into the pro-Palestine people. They ran it with the Roe v. Wade protests and the BLM protesters or riots. Like, they can't pull any of those people back once they let them off the leash. So they get them all riled up and they say, "Hey, do all this stuff, but don't come after me." Well, they're coming after you guys now.
Look, the death threats thing, I believe her. I'm familiar with a couple people locally running for stuff, and they've both received death threats already.
Yeah.
And it sucks that that's what politics has evolved. Well, I guess it's always kind of been like that. But these over emotional people, when it comes to stuff like this, they drive me nuts, and that sucks for her. And this is probably one of the few times I'll kind of compliment her and say she handles these types of things kind of well, as well as any politician could. Jasmine Crockett, she does.
God. All right, let me get this going.
For this. So I hear you even on the danger, even on campuses, but I wanted to bring this in because this is the kind of messaging they're hearing on their sports.
Get ish for her districts. And so the best she can do right now, not just for her district, but for the country, is to speak up and hold them to account at every single level.
Pause. I hate that response. The best thing that she can do is speak up.
That's not even her job.
That's not the best thing to do. The best thing you can do is tell me what type of legislation or changes that you're pushing for, And this is my biggest frustration. TR, I'm on her website right now, and I'm looking at the issues that she's listed on here. Healthcare, that's a big deal, right? She just posted a quick 3 sentence statement that she believes that everybody deserves it. Like it doesn't have anything about execution or any acts that she wishes to pass.
Or illegals, are they allowed to have health care as well too?
They won't answer that question.
Nope.
They won't answer that question. Education. Here's another nothing burger. She talks about how she's the daughter of a teacher and knows firsthand the benefits of education. No policies there. It's just like feel good stuff. When you go to these pages and you look at these issues that they stand on, they're not giving you any answers. In the economy, probably the most important issue to most people, right? Well, she's a small business owner, so she understands mom and dad pop-up shops are the backbone of our economy. That's the sentence, TR. There's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to lower taxes for them? Are you going to give them some type of credits? Like, how are you going to help them? Like, this is where I get confused because at least I know one of the things that I actually agree 100% with Trump on the economy. I'm with him on the economy. He came in talking about how we have all of these bad deals with these other countries. They're charging us tariffs. They're not letting us sell our products over there. And he went in and went to work on that immediately.
Yeah.
And he talked about it during his campaign. That is one area where I rock with him is the economy. And I'm not getting any answers from her website. And when I hear her talk, she has the same talking points as the rest of the parties. Okay, Trump bad, Trump evil, we hate Trump. Okay, fine. What are you going to do that's better than what he's doing?
Exactly.
That's really all I'm trying to hear.
MC,
I don't even know what y'all want to do half the time because the only things y'all stand 10 toes down on are baby deletions and illegal migrants coming into the country.
Yep. MC, there's a senator, in our hometown, Chambers, and he's not a senator anymore though. But this guy was in the Senate for actually, was he Senate or was he? He wasn't councilman, was he?
Oh, Ernie Chambers. He was a state senator.
Yeah, state senator. Okay, so Senator Chambers, I'm putting respect on his name. Wonderful guy. He did something that was great for for the community. He gave the community the voice. The problem was I can't remember a damn thing that he did that he got accomplished. I know he went after people. He generally went after white people, like, keeping it 100. He just wanted to yell at white people. And that's funny maybe for the clicks and likes, but when people's lives are on the line, the way they live, when people are looking for resources, that stuff ain't funny anymore. That stuff starts being funny after like maybe a year. And he had a long tenure in the Senate, but unfortunately, I can't recall. Like, I'm not saying he was not impactful, but could he have done more? Yes, he could have done more. Being a state senator, and so that's something that from our community, that would have been great. Like our hometown, like that would have been great for for Ernie to push whatever do his job in the Senate. But unfortunately, he didn't do that. He was more about arguing with people and fighting with people. And then his legacy will be, I don't know what his legacy will be. I mean, other than, again, fighting with white people. That's the only thing I think his legacy will be. And it's unfortunate, though, because I think he could have really, changed the temperature, or he could have really, took Omaha to the next level. But unfortunately, he did not do that. So, this is all great for the likes and everything. And we see this on the other side with, Marjorie Taylor as well as Nancy Mace. Sometimes I'm like, are y'all saying this shit just to get clicks and likes though? Because sometimes I'd be wondering about y'all. That's why, like, when you try to have these conversations with people that are actually doing the will of the people, serving the people, they really don't do it, or they do it for a few months. They definitely during campaign season they say they'll do it, but they really don't do it. And that's all Stephen A. Smith is saying. Like, you can do all that arguing, fine. You better be getting shit done. This better be after hours. All she's only gone viral for talking shit with Trump or the Marjorie Taylor or Nancy Mace. That's it. That's the only thing she's gone viral for. I don't know what she's been able to get accomplished. Like, I could probably look it up though, but she has yet to get those things accomplished.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Nancy Mace and Marjorie Taylor Greene because at times and I've said this before when we talked about Jasmine Crockett. I really don't see her and Marjorie Taylor Greene kind of act alike. They really
Yeah.
do. Like it's like
Yeah.
you
No
attack,
man, no
you look
kids.
pretty.
Or
Well,
actually,
I mean,
MTG has kids, but
I mean
divorced.
that's a good point, and that's another thing. If you don't have any functional relationships with the opposite sex, what does that say about your ability to work?
Yeah,
with the
Jasmine Crockett ain't
opposite
got no
sex?
black husband, got no black kids, but she's the pro blackity blacks. All right.
But at times, like I was saying, I don't really see the difference between them. It seems like they just look for these viral moments and these quote
Yeah.
unquote clapbacks in Congress, which I don't know when that became a thing. But and for the record, we're bringing this up first of all because it's true, and second of all, nobody's above smoke here.
Yeah. Yes.
You work for the people. You have to be held accountable.
You're a
and you
public
can be
servant.
criticized. Yes.
Public
Criticism
servant.
comes with that.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez.
Man
I
that's
think that-
listening to Stephen A. Bakari.
Yeah, of course. I
They,
mean,
but they would
there are
take
people
that
who like,
and take
there are
it
people who
seriously.
like,
Yes.
yeah,
white men.
Yeah, and they think
I
that
think
they
white
think
men.
they
You
think
guys,
that
it's
Jasmine
not
Crockett
just
talks
white
with her
men.
neck
No, I'm not just
and
saying
is too loud and
exclusively.
snaps her fingers and all that, and they caricature her like he's doing.
Yeah.
And so my point though is that I didn't like the back and forth with Jasmine Crockett and Nancy Mace or whoever it was, right? But
Nancy Mace is the one that got violent. She was the one that said, "Let's take it out."
She got
I
violent.
know them
Okay.
both very
Marjorie
well.
Taylor Greene.
I know them
Yeah.
both very well, and that just because I was in
They
the
attacked
legislature, so
her.
I look at that totally different. However, I will tell you that there is a through line between the Ice Cubes and the Jason Whitlocks and the Stephen A. Smith.
This is where I got pissed off, T.R.
Why is Ice Cube catching smoke? All Ice Cube was trying to do was, what was it called? The Contract for Black America?
No,
I don't
he
know
did
why they
more
hate
than
him.
that. He did more than that. He secured, and we talked about this on a previous show. He secured a $100 million contract with the NFL to have black vendors print their merchandise.
Yeah.
He actually went in and got the bag. And this was after everybody clowned him for meeting with Trump. Ice Cube has done nothing but work for people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I've got nothing that says otherwise. If you look at the ownership of the big three, I saw a bunch of black folks. He's trying to help people get paid.
Yeah.
So where is this energy coming from? Y'all still mad because he met with Trump, but he got results from that.
Yeah. Ice Cube
What are
should
we
not be
doing?
in. No black man should be in these conversations though. But it's easy. See, they can only go after black men. It's not like only black men or have some accountability for. Everybody's had accountability. Well, if you're a conservative or you're independent, you've had accountability for Jasmine Crockett and also accountability for everybody. Like who's above? Trump's not above it. Trump's done a lot of great things. Trump, I've said this before though. I want to see, and he's getting this started, go after those rogue prosecutors. That's where I was like, why is this taking so long? It's starting to move. We're starting to see some movement, especially with Big Shame, Letitia James, and Alvin Bragg, and then Fonnie Willis. Like these are all the people that were weaponized by the Biden administration to go after Trump, and they colluded with the White House. So we're starting to see those things take place. He got the Gaza thing taken care of. I know he thought it was going to be a quick process, maybe with a month or two. It took a little bit longer, but he got the job done. But again, what I'm saying is that nobody's above accountability, and Trump would tell him that, and tell himself that. For some reason, when it's a black woman, they're above accountability. And sorry, my apologies. When it's a liberal black woman or a Democrat black woman, they're above accountability. If it's a black woman, they drag that chick. They talk all the shit. They will talk shit on her. They won't vote for her. They'll do everything. Well, if it's a black man, essentially, if they're conservative, Byron Donalds. I mean, Byron Donalds gets so much smoke, unnecessary fucking smoke. The dude's a father, has been married to his wife, or they've been married for a while, but and all he does is what he does is just try to take care of his community, or what he represents.
And
So
if you know anything about his story, he was arrested and went to jail and turned his life around.
Yep.
And not to mention he graduated from
As a
an
teenager.
HBCU. He graduated from an HBCU.
Yeah, you told me that too. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he graduated from Florida A&M. So I don't know what people smoke is for people like him. If you're going to say it's his wife, well, let's talk about all these black women in power that we always big up, and that's married to white men. Yet they're always criticizing white men.
Yeah.
Like, what do we like? Keep that same energy. That's all I'm saying.
Facts.
And these individuals, and Ice Cube may be slightly different than the other two,
Slightly.
but
Yes,
these individuals have been around since we have been on this freedom struggle. There have always been individual oversight or the appropriations process, right? And how you're able to bring resources back to your community.
Oh yeah, when it comes to like reparations and everything, there have been countless of the Congressional Black Caucus, the out of especially out of California. There have been all types of other groups, and if reparations was a big deal, then why didn't you hold Kamala Harris fucking accountable about it? She said she wasn't gonna do reparations, and you motherfuckers just sat on your fucking hands and didn't say anything. If reparations is that big of a deal, then why wasn't it big deal when Kamala Harris said she was not going to do reparations? I'm not even going to talk about Barack Obama. We know he fucking was going to do it. Or Joe Biden. Kamala said she wasn't going to do fucking reparations. And most of you motherfuckers went after Byron Donalds when he said he wasn't about reparations. He actually gave a real reason why you can't do reparations. I mean, you can obviously do it. It's going to be fucked up. But he gave like a pretty, reasonable reason why you cannot do reparations in the United States in, 2025. Like, he made a case for
it. Or what Jasmine is doing, so he rather lampoon her, or instead of having a constructive conversation. And so I've said what I've had to say about Stephen A. Smith in my book anywhere I can. I don't have a lot of use for him in the political dialogue.
Jeez.
I think that there are individuals who he matriculated with at Winston-Salem State University that are extremely disappointed about the man he's become.
It's so disheartening.
Like, who gives a fuck? He gives the
HBCU.
HBCU. He does that. The HBCU week. Like, I don't see anyone else do any of that. He doesn't have to do any of that shit, and he does it. You there, MC?
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Yep, I'm here. I'm here.
Got it.
Like man haters and all this, but I feel such confidence in Black men. I've never bought into the idea that all these Black men are voting for Trump. Like, they vote overwhelmingly Democrat. We're pretty much in line with each other. What you all are saying is no, they are.
And that is a fucking problem. If Black men and Black women have been voting in lockstep with each other, how has that worked out? The Democrats have controlled the White House for the last, 16 years? How's that worked out for Black people? Seriously, like, that's what I want to know. How has that been the best option for Black people when we've been voting Democrat and even longer than that, but like I said, for the last 16 years, how has that worked out for Black people en masse? Have you got the results that you were expecting? Have we already received the results that you probably thought we would be at? Like, most people probably would say no. And I'm not even on this shit. Like, Black people have to always vote Democrat. You should vote who's going to be the best candidate for you, as well as vote for a candidate you can believe that is going to be, that someone that you trust. And I know trust is hard to say when it comes to politicians, though, but you got to trust somebody.
I'm keep an open mind on this one. I'm not expecting the real answer, but I know when you post this video, TR, we're going to get all the slander and all the smoke in the comments. But when y'all done doing all of that, I want you to write in the comments what you like about Jasmine Crockett. What are we missing? What has she done that we have not talked about or haven't seen? I really want to know the answer to this question.
Also, I want to know if you have a Black kids and you have a Black wife too.
That'll probably help as well.
No, it's going never mind. I can't say it.
And the data shows that there have been inroads among Black men. I want to ask why, because it is frustrating to me, and it feels heartbreaking, to be honest, because we are impacted by this system as well. It's not a matter of who's impacted worse. We're impacted differently.
Victim Olympics.
It bothers me. Let's deal with the elephant in the room. Who has been the head of the Black family since at least the 60s?
It's been Black women.
It's been Black women. You have been the heads of households. You were in positions of leadership, and somehow you don't know what's going on with the people you were leading, and you don't know why these quote unquote rifts that are between Black men and Black women are happening. What does that say something about us, or does that say something about the leadership that was in place?
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there. Y'all can answer it for yourselves, but at some point, and first of all, let me pivot real quick. I think 1 in 3, almost 1 in 3 black men voted for Trump. It might have been 1 in 4 or something like that.
I think it's 1 in 4. The majority of black people voted, which is funny. They talk about all these black men that voted for Trump. It doesn't matter. Majority of black men still voted for Kamala Harris.
My point is the way we do politics is silly, because if we really were serious about being influential and making some type of change, the proper play is to tell both sides what do you want? What are you going to do for us? We're not taking anybody's side until we hear what your plans are and make them compete for our vote. But if I know that I got you on lock every single time everybody goes to the polls, of course you're going to be the last people I see. Of course you're going to be at the bottom of the priority list.
Yeah, exactly.
Sit at the intersection of being black and being women. And so when men are frustrated with this system, it feels like they fight us. You know, and I would put Stephen A. Smith in that category too. Like, I'm mad at y'all for having joy. I'm mad at y'all for having success. I'm mad at y'all for surpassing us on college campuses. And so it's a small sect of men that are so angry and hurt that they're willing to
Surpassing us on
align
college
with the people.
campuses, TR. Who has the largest amount of consumer debt?
Man, you black men, or men in general, not even just, this is not even like a race issue. I know we're talking about a lot of race. You're gonna be the person that you get all the blame. You're gonna be the reason why she couldn't be CEO of Nabisco. You're gonna be the reason why she couldn't get that. She couldn't be a wife or whatever the case is. You're 100% gonna be the blame, because I don't know why Tiffany Cross went into this. You were talking about Stephen A. and then you pivoted into like, well, black men don't do it. More black men supported the fucking WNBA over any other race out there. I mean, I can't prove it, so don't ask me. But it appears
No, we
that
proved that on previous shows.
Have we? Okay, fuck it.
Yeah.
But the point is, I mean, more black men have been involved with supporting, the majority of black organizations out there. And so for her to come out here, no matter what your fucking politics are, the majority of black men will support these events, no matter what, off rip, for whatever fucking reason. So for her to come out here and start like shitting, slandering black men, and we got 2 black men, again, one is Zessie because one got caught with a white escort. I'll let you figure out who that person was, but a white male escort on a cocaine bender. But I don't want to get messy, but pause. But the point is that you have these 2 men up here because Tiffany is talking. This is Tiffany, right? I forget.
Tiffany Cross.
Yeah. So they are claiming that men are supporting them or black men are always against them. If we have a disagreement, we're not a fucking monolith. And black people, I hear black people already want to say that we're not a monolith. We're not a monolith. I can't tell by the voting. I can't tell if you have smoke for a black woman. The only time that you have smoke for a black person is when that person is conservative. That's it. That is the one time I can tell you have smoke for that person.
I'll expand it a little bit further than that. They'll have smoke for them if they don't do what they think you need to do. If you start operating the way you need to as opposed to what they want you to do, then they're going to call you all kinds of names, as we're going to see pretty soon in this video.
Yeah, let me find that real quick.
Well, press us. What am I getting wrong? Because if you listen to Stephen A. Smith and you find anything other than some absolute, pure, self-hating, little dick energy nonsense from that half-witted idiot basking in the non-existent rays of his own ignorance, it is sad to me that he even gets an audience of black men. Why aren't black men right now saying, Stephen A. Smith, we banning him, we not listening to his podcast, we're not watching his show anymore?
All right, fuck Tiffany Cross then. Fuck that. How about that? I'm gonna stop sharing her then, because no matter what you do, again, Stephen A. he can do all these things. Stephen A.'s been called a sellout on his own goddamn show by Terrell Owens. He's been called a lot of derogatory comments. He had to go through that bullshit with LeBron fucking James, and LeBron was 100% in the wrong for that shit. Stephen A. wasn't going after his son. And Stephen A. Smith gets catch all the fucking smoke because he decides to have one conversation about Jasmine Crockett. And then she starts adding all these ad hominem attacks about, people that listen to his podcast. If the Democrats were smart, they would start ingratiating themselves with Stephen A. Because this last election told you, you're not going to win on the radio. You're not going to win on television, maybe the internet. or maybe on social media, but you need to do podcasts. You need to go on these shows like Stephen A. or Joe Rogan. Kamala was like too good to go on Joe Rogan, and we saw how that happened or how that helped. I'm not sure. I know for a fact it would not have helped her push her over the top, but she could have gained some more voters, more support that way.
I'll end on this. And this question is specifically for Tiffany Cross. I doubt she ever sees it. But the reason why she didn't understand, you know what, TR, fuck it, I'm gonna just say it. Most black women aren't as familiar with black men as they think they are. They think they know what we want and what's best for us, but the fact of the matter is you didn't take the time to listen. And quite frankly, I wonder if you even care. And if you don't care, that's fine, but just let your intentions be known and we'll deal with it as we see fit. But you cannot be a pro-black. And what I've learned, TR, is a lot of these so-called pro-blacks, what they really mean is pro-black women. They don't mean pro-black people. That movement has been hijacked too. So that's why somebody like me will stand on his own political island and just try to figure things out for himself. Because I'm not following anybody I don't believe in.
Yeah, and we don't agree with 100% with anybody says. So, and that's, conservative or Republican. Like, I got my doubts. I already got some wild theories out there for what some of the things that the Democrats have been, or not the Democrats, but the Republicans have been involved with, though. But I mean, look, I'm looking at all these other issues before I even get to these other issues. So no one's above criticism. Jasmine Crockett isn't, Tiffany Cross, and the rest of the Zest Fest folks on that podcast who all been fired from their all respective shows that were ran by white people. They've all been fired from those shows. And I remember when Joy Taylor, they were trying to get black people to watch Joy Taylor. If white people don't watch Joy Taylor, she ain't going nowhere. They got tired of being called, terrible white people. That's why her show plummeted. And that's why they elevated, Tweety Bird with the glasses. Like, I don't understand why you guys have so much smoke for, white, or you have so much smoke for black people when we're not the ones getting in your way, messing up your bag, slandering you on the internet. Like, that's just not us. I mean, we're talking shit now just because of this, podcast take. But anyways, all right, MC. Final thoughts.
No, I think we cooked a little bit tonight, and we getting back into the swing of things. So looking forward for more content from the Black Phoenix podcast.
Hey, for real though. All right, everybody. Have a good night.
Peace.